Hi, so my name is Elizabeth Bischoff, and this is my name is Elizabeth Bischoff, and this is my second learning teaching interaction for my practicum FAML445 class. And we're supposed to just talk about the things from the past 2 weeks that we've learned from our readings, and also talk about the just things that we can integrate from life experiences. So the first thing that I really kind of want to touch on, and I probably will cover most of in this learning teaching interaction, is from chapter 4, implementing family life education programs. And one thing that I really liked from there was the component display theory. And there was a quote in there that said a common way to begin would be to share, and this is beginning any family life education class that family life educators will be teaching. And it says a common way to begin would be to share a principle with the learners. Merrill calls this an expository generality, which simply means that the teacher tells or calls the expository mode some general ideas, principle, concept, truth, or process. And I really like this, and I think it kind of sums up what the component display theory is about. So from what I could gather out of the text, I'm not sure if I completely understood it all the way or not, but what I could gather is that there's 5 parts to the component display theory, and that's using story. The first one is using stories that teach the principle. The second one is helping learners take the principles home. And the second one is the third one is finding instruction and balance. And the fourth one is instruction outside a classroom. And last is mixing the elements of instruction. So what I'm going to kind of do is just pull from each of these 5 parts. So the first one was using stories that teach the principle. And so to help our learners, we need to understand a principle. We need to provide a story or begin our teaching or lesson with a story or a fact or something that will grab the learner's attention. In my FAML400 class that I took last semester, it was my advocacy class. There was this lady, her name was Marcia I think her last name was Barlow, if I remember right. And she said that telling a story is the key thing to becoming an effective teacher or an effective debater, I guess you could say. Your stories are meant to capture the attention, and it's supposed to capture the hearts of those that are listening, and then it helps get your points across because the person that's listening to that story can relate to what you're saying. Let's see. The second one was helping learners take the principles home. And what I really liked about this was there was a quote that said, "The objective is to not push the participant towards our words, but towards the actions congruent with the principle." So I really like this because you don't want to try and pound the words into their head and try and make them grasp the words. It's all about them applying it and really taking it home and applying the principles that they're learning. The third one was finding instructional balance. I really, really liked this because there needs to be balance between teachers and learners in a way that can advance learning. There needs to be an equal amount of discussion between the teacher and the learner. And actually, there needs to be almost more insights from the learner than the teacher. The insights that the learner has are deeper, and they enrich the activity and they enrich the learning of those that are in that room. Let's see, the fourth one was instruction outside a classroom. And I really like this, and what this means is you're not just going to have these family life education classes, but you also are going to have books and different types of material. Print material is something that was quoted in the book or in our text that students or the learners need to have access to. There was a quote in the book. It said, while a print teaching process does not allow for full-fledged interaction, many effective parenting publications provide questions that invite participants through thought and reaction. And if this kind of triggered my memory about the different texts and books that I read for my different classes. And one book that I'm actually reading right now for my parenting skills class that I'm taking it's called The Soft-Spoken Parent by H. Wallace Goddard. And in that book, he has different principles of just like 57 principles and techniques of how to become a more effective parent and soft-spoken parent. And at the end of each principle, he has reflection questions and different activities that you can apply to what you're trying to learn, I guess you could say, from the principle that you're reading on, which I really like. A couple of other books that have thought-provoking questions that help. There's Between Parent and Child by Chaim Ganot, and then there's The 10 Basic Principles of Good Parenting by Lawrence Steinberg. These are all really good books, and they really help the learner improve their overall understanding of what they've been taught in maybe a parenting class that they've attended. The last one was Mixing the Elements of Instruction. And I really like this because what it means is mixing up the lesson. So I'm taking a Child 330 class right now. It's a teaching class. And what we have to do is we have to come up with a different activity for each of our lessons that we teach. And when you're teaching your lessons, you want to have different enrichment activities that can apply to all different learning styles. So whether it's a visual learner, hands-on learner, numbers, interaction, whatever it is, the different types of activities that you provide in a lesson can really help those that are participating in the class that you're teaching. It can really help them comprehend and solidify the different things that they're learning. That was basically the main thing that I really wanted to cover in this video, were those 5 different parts from the component display theory. And I think that applying them as a teacher help you become a more effective teacher. And you just have to kind of mix it up, and I guess it's kind of a little bit of a learning curve in how you're going to apply those things. But yeah, that's kind of one thing that I really enjoyed and gained from this past week's reading that I hope that I can apply more. So